Hi, welcome. On this video, I'd like to discuss the issue of transitioning into the relational changing process. Now, at first glance, when you come into this system of training, you're looking at some of the videos, it can perhaps appear a little bit more overwhelming, especially looking at certain things like the push-pull method, leash technique, and all these different things that are going on. And here's the thing about training. When I'm working with people, doing in-person training, clearly it is a lot easier for people because I'm there to help them. I'm coaching them. I'm getting them set up, getting them started, and so they have that in-person type of instruction going on. So, but even in that, I'm keeping it very simple. But without sometimes someone like myself standing there helping, it can again it can appear intimidating because again sometimes people will look at something and say, well, if I can't get all the points down or just have it a certain way, the way that it appears, and there's no sense even starting into it. But here's the thing to consider. I mean, when you're looking at beginning the process, is don't get too. I encourage people not to get too caught up in perfection or things looking a certain way. It's really starting off getting a sense of the steps you need to begin to gain insight into the right path, the process to take. Because here's the thing: you could go out and just jump on board some sort of approach that uses, say, treats, that advocates this learning narrative, and you're going to be in worse shape. Okay, you're not going to be able to make the change that you expect. So here's the kind of middle of the road, or the best way to kind of approach this system, is at least begin to take some basic steps to ease into it. At least as you start to ease into it, it'll all start to come together, and just by taking your time. So some of the things you want to start doing right away is commit to not doing certain things, like don't use treats. Okay, when you first start into even having a puppy. Okay, because sometimes people look at starting with a puppy, they have certain ideas about, well, the dog's really young, and of course you're not going to overburden the dog, overtax the dog in training, because it's about, understand, it's about relationship. It's not about running the dog, tiring the dog, and running around a bunch of pylons and all these different things. That's not what it's about. It's about beginning to fulfill your rightful role, okay, which starts to change perceptions of the dog. So to see you more in a leadership role, and the dog will begin to come more into a follower role. But there's certain things you want to advocate or promote that don't require having it all come together in a really defined way all at once. So some of the things you want to do, again, you want to just commit to eliminate food, and even using the leash. Like, number one is don't use retractable leashes. I mean, commit to don't use a retractable leash, because that represents the dog gaining control. So you want to stick to just a standard leash, and begin to, even with a puppy, begin to get the dog to come into agreement with or accept, walking beside you, okay, going into a sit position beside you. Do not allow the dog to go out in front of you, okay, even if taking the dog out to the bathroom. You want to advocate, promote that, even using the leash a little bit when the dog's eating its food, okay, a little bit of leadership. You want to be, make sure the dog isn't just doing certain things without you in the picture, a certain way. And I say a certain way in a leadership way. So again, I want to advocate beginning to use a leash, because here's the thing. This is why the leash itself, there's certain interactions right away that will begin to expose there's a problem. The dog begins to, challenge being led on the leash, within the parameters of what's reasonable. So this is why, again, right away, even with a puppy, begin to get the dog to accept using the leash. And here's the thing: it's not about perfection. Okay, yes, getting the method, the integrity of the method is important. Because it's going to produce a better result overall. But that's not how you want to start off. Just start off, just ease into it. Begin to advocate. Use proper positions. Okay, dog accepting being beside you as a follower, thinking properly. So you want to make sure you're not putting too much emotion out there on the dog. Make sure the dog understands, hey, you're in charge, and that's not meant to be a bad thing. Okay, just understand. Just don't get overtaken by emotion. That's a big kind of no-no too. It's got to be reconciled through leadership. So there's nothing wrong with petting your dog, okay, but make sure the dog, you're advocating certain things. Just don't have the dog sleep up in the bed. That's another thing right away, because again, that can start to frame up, not in a good way. So dog can be in the bedroom, have the dog down near the the side of the bed, in terms of not on the bed, but be beside the bed area on the floor, in a dog bed or whatever, or even have the crate, because I really advocate crate training, beginning the crate training process, by having the crate in your bedroom, perhaps at the side of the bed. Okay, but again, within a leadership kind of framework at the same time. So again, just want to put out there that as you kind of transition, and here's the thing: doing these steps, it's going to create change right away. It's not complicated. You want to ease into it, and you want to stay away from certain things. You want to start to transition in, and just commit to doing certain things right away, and then perhaps taking more of a look at even the methodology itself, with starting to direct the dog a little bit more into certain positions, certain method, and that can be very helpful. But again, there's just certain things that you should commit to and start to do right away, because it's going to be very helpful. And here's the thing, you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. You just commit to those things, and then start to move forward. But again, stay away from using treats to get the dog to do certain things. That's just a big no-no. That's something you're going to set yourself up, because it results in nothing more than typically bribery for the dog. The dog is not going to see you a certain way, especially if you're already, your thinking's already kind of leaning towards a lot more emotion. So it's just certain thing. And here's the thing: people we're kind of creatures of habit. All the dominoes fall a certain way. So typically, when I'm helping people, you'll see all the dominoes. So, for example, people think a certain way, will do certain things. They'll use the treats, they use body harnesses, they want to use retractable leashes. You want to really be intentional with going against that. Really change your thinking, because all those things line up. It's not just all those things, it's about how people think. Okay, so just like being a parent, you want to commit to make sure that you're thinking clearly, because that's, when I talk about really depth of relationship, what real love means, and all those different things, you've got to make sure you're in the right relationship. Okay, it goes deeper than that. So again, just some encouragement for people: don't get into this catch-22 situation where you're like, well, I just not going to do it, or jump on board the treat train. Don't do it. Okay, begin to do those steps. Begin to do certain things that don't require things to be perfect, but at least it's going to start to line things up. It will make a tremendous difference with you and your dog. So thanks for watching.